there's only one thing I know for sure about every single organisation. You will never have enough time, money and people to do all of the things that you would ideally like to do. So you have to make choices. And at any point, you've got to be satisfied that you're doing the things that deliver the biggest bang for buck. Welcome to Moments with Marty, your short, sharp shot of leadership insight to help you to stay on track between our weekly episodes of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast. Whenever you need approval for resources or to commence a program of work, you'll first need to convince your boss that it's a good idea. As a former Chief Information Officer and Finance Executive, and of course later as a CEO, I assessed hundreds of investment proposals. And I made decisions based upon whether or not the business cases were solid, rational, and ultimately representative of the truth. When I analysed an investment proposal, I looked for it to answer a few basic questions. The first was, how much is this going to cost? The second was, what do I actually get for my money? The third question was, when do I get it? The fourth was, what's likely to get in the way of achieving the stated benefits? And the fifth was, how big a hole are we in if all this turns to custard? If you were asking me for resources, your job was to convince me that the proposal was a good idea. After all, there's only one thing I know for sure about every single organisation. You will never have enough time, money and people to do all of the things that you would ideally like to do. So you have to make choices. And at any point, you've got to be satisfied that you're doing the things that deliver the biggest bang for buck. Michael Porter, the father of modern strategy, said, "The essence of strategy is choosing what not to do." There is a relativity to any investment. What are my other choices for deploying these resources? Are those choices better in relative terms than the one that's in front of me now? You're in competition for your organisation's scarce resources, which is why many companies use the term capital rationing. Your boss is much more likely to agree to support your investment proposal if it's comprehensive and well written. And when I say comprehensive, I just mean that it has to cover all the major food groups. There are 6 key areas that you're going to need to address. The first is strategic fit. The second is the financial benefits. The third is the non-financial benefits. The fourth is any assumptions you've made. The fifth is the risks. And finally, the sixth is any supporting and technical data that you have. So if the investment is large, say $50 million, you might want to walk through the proposal in some detail and present a lot of data to support your request. Now that proposal could be, say, 100 pages long. But if the investment is small, say $50,000, you can probably cover it off in a couple of pages. The one critical truth you need to accept is this. If your proposal doesn't clearly demonstrate a path to delivering tangible value, then it doesn't deserve to be approved. So you want to convince your boss. Well, how do you reliably do that? In episode 126 of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast, I laid out the 10 critical factors that are likely to determine whether or not your boss is going to approve your investment proposal. Now, this includes things like being crystal clear on the value proposition, knowing your boss's motivations, and being really familiar with the language of business cases, including any financial metrics that are going to be used to assess it. If you can learn to put forward a compelling case for value creation, you'll be much more likely to get your boss to agree to your plan. And if that isn't enough, well, maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all. For more depth on this insight, have a listen to episode 126 of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast, Selling Your Proposal. We'll leave a link in the show notes. I really hope you enjoyed this moment and it gives you that extra little spark to be a no bullshit leader.